And ultimately, these were the top 2 guys on our priority list. So to land them, that's pretty special for us. What goes into that? Well, a lot of things go into it. We talk a lot about talent and spirit. And the talent, we think these guys are tremendous fits for what we do, for what Kyle does in his offense. We think these guys fit just perfectly. We're excited to use them. And then the spirit, these are guys that we want to build our locker room around. And these are stand-up guys, and we're very pleased to have them at 49ers.
I'll start with Jerick first. When it comes to a running back, it starts with how do they run the ball, and I think he's an extremely good runner. I've loved him since college. It was harder to evaluate him in college because he was a quarterback, but he was a very good running quarterback. He could throw a little bit too. But it's, I always knew he had running skills, and then to be able to study him on NFL film where he was actually at the running back position, and to be able to see he can make people miss, and he can create arm tackles, and he has the strength and power to break those arm tackles. And then what is the huge bonus on him is when you talk about the pass game. When it comes to separating and beating linebackers and safeties in man-to-man coverage, I definitely think he's an issue for teams. And I think this league, when it comes to third downs and things like that, you move the chains based off of matchups, which allows you to get points in the long run. So I think Jerick is very versatile, and we can do a lot of things with him. And when it comes to Richburg, Weston, which I've messed up your name 1,000 times in the last month, but Weston
Richburg. At one point he was Western Richburg.
When it comes to Weston, it's when you have a center in our offense that can play at the level that Weston can, it gives a huge advantage. When you have guys who can read shades on their own, when you don't need the help of the guards and things like that, the type of personnel groupings you can get into and stuff, it adds a lot to your offense. And I've been around some real good ones in my career, and he's put it all on tape, and he looks right there with all those guys, and that's why I value him a ton off the tape. Didn't know a ton about him until I turned on the tape, and it was as good as I've seen. So that's who we were going for from the beginning, and you got to do your homework and check into the guy and everything we found out just from his work ethic and everything that I say that's very important to us. He's off the charts in those areas too. So I think he can add a lot of things to our run game, to our pass game, and make a lot of other guys' job easier as it is. I see, he's coming in right now, and he's our starting running back, and we're going to always compete, and we'll see how that plays out. But obviously we brought him here to be our starting back, and that the question that you asked, I understand the question, but a lot of that I don't totally think that way. What play are we running on the first play of the game? And and then every play from then on out's the same. So featured back, starting back, obviously that's what we think of him, and that's why we got him here.
Jimmy Garoppolo being here influenced your decision at all?
It did, and I watched this team the second half of the season, and I seen how they turned things around, and I said they got something special cooking over there. So I was just like, if I can get over there and just put my hand in the pile, I know a lot of good things can come from that. And Jimmy done a great job since he got here. I think he hasn't lost a game since he started, and that just speaks to him and his preparation. Where he came from, the older guy that was in front of him, with Tom Brady, and the sky's the limit for that guy. So I'm glad to be here, and I'm excited to get to working with him.
That older guy in front of him?
That older guy in front of him. That's the GOAT. That's the GOAT right there. That's the GOAT. So, yeah.
From a distance last year, you could see there was some excitement. Even when things weren't going well, there was still excitement surrounded by it. Some guys I've talked to today talked about how I didn't feel like they were losing games, and then when Jimmy comes in and then they go on that run, it just looked like there was a lot of great things ahead, and that's how I feel being here today, is excited about what's in store for us and what we can do as an offense and then as a team together.
To free agents who signed last year, even without any sort of track record with Shanahan here, they just look at his scheme and his offense and see it as appealing, just based on Atlanta and things like that. Yeah. Is that the reputation consistent throughout the league? And did you know when you were hitting free agency, like, man, I would really love to play in that system because it fits?
Well, if you watch the film, it's very obvious that he's been successful wherever he's been. As I studied it more and kind of looked at what we thought were options, watching some games and stuff, just kind of curious. It looked to be an offense that I could succeed in, that I could really help out in and be an important part of.